Okay, let me go through some real quick. If you want to make the sitemap work, there's some couple of base features you have to pull into place, and that's this. With this kind of a project, in order to get domain/project to work, you have to get domain/project and, well, the domain token, the project token, and the menu token, all three, into your HTML file. I actually did forget that because we've been using, the last thing we've been doing has been sort of a batch file that's dealt with that behind the scenes. But for the version that you want to run these days, then yeah, that's right. You do need that. So in order to get two to work, you have to have all three working. Okay, what is the real quick concept of the difference? That's with the sitemaps, of course. We're going to want to do domain/project/ master-sitemap. Whoops, sorry, forgot about my caps lock. Master dash, that's because you have to have caps for the tokens inside the HTML file, or it won't match. Okay. All right, and that's for the master sitemap file. Like I was telling you before, right? Just if I go and take a look at one, industry, yeah, leaders.nap slash, let me just find them. Okay, these are all master sitemaps in here, all of these. Okay, and so each one is for a project, right? Like in this case, it's just the domain. It's iPhone-unlock. Let me do a control plus real quick on this. Where is it without? Oh, number pad's over there. Okay, so you can see it, right? This is the domain and then a project, right? And therefore the master sitemap in the project of the domain. Here's a case where the domain includes the project because it's a subdomain. And it's the same thing as industry-leaders.net slash landscaping-washington slash master-sitemap.html. Either way, those two items are accounted for, whether in the form of a subdomain or domain/project. The two items are accounted for. The master sitemap deals with those two items, domain and project token, effectively. Okay. Now, but what is the master sitemap comprised of? A bunch of sitemaps, individual sitemaps. Okay. So inside the master sitemaps are individual sitemaps that go with that section of the system. Like in this case, it's all Washington-landscaping, the subdomain. So it's all of that, and then this would be the root. So it's sort of like a no-name sitemap. It doesn't have a menu item, but the rest of these, there it is. So there's the domain, there's what would be the project, but it's a subdomain, and then the menu item, and then the sitemap for that menu, right? And so in there are the pages that belong to that. So let me back up and just point another one out. So each one of these have a bunch of pages in them, okay, that belong to each menu's sections. That's really cool. It's very well organized and very structured. But it means this, like we were saying, if you wanted to go into one of these things and actually capture all these links and paste them into Google Webmaster Tools for indexing, that'd be a pain to do these one at a time. That one, then 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 that one. Then it would take you all day long. Well, a long time. And so that's why on the master sitemap, we said if you go up in the address bar and switch it from .html to .txt, okay, it will give you all those links. Let me control minus out of this again so it looks a little more easy to read. Okay, yeah. Okay, it'll give you all those links for all of those menu-based sitemaps, all of the links for the entire project in one spot. That's awesome. Awesome. And because of that, then we actually need to have those menus created. Okay, we've always been creating them, and so you're going to have to create them in this case. So each of those menus is going to have its very own sitemap.html. You don't have to think about this so much, and you don't have to worry about how to handle the menu or anything. All you need to do is get the relevant tokens into this sheet and actually use the menu generator inside the vars sheet. And by doing that, then you're going to wind up matching this up and you'll be all right. So in order to use domain/project to get the master sitemap to work, we actually have to also create the menu. Okay, so how do we do that? Here's how. Let me show you. Okay, first we go into the vars, all right, and we have our vars. This is what we had before. Okay, and I'm going to it doesn't matter where you put your cursor, but I'm going to highlight this thing by clicking here, and then over any of the lines for the column separators, I'm going to double click, Boom, boom. Okay, with that, my cursor splits into a double-headed arrow, right? And it'll extend them all out to the right size. The tallest size possible to fit the largest possible thing in the column, right? So by highlighting all the columns and then hovering over any one of those lines, then it resizes everything so it's readable, right? Not covered up. Now, I'm going to go to the MOWG toolbar, menu generator, and it's going to say select a relevant column for the menu. What do you think we would normally use for that? Well, the keyword column, the standard keyword column, not necessarily an uppercase keyword, but just keywords. So I'm going to choose var2 because the keyword column. It's going to say number of results. You can go anywhere from 2 to 25, and you don't need to know all this stuff. You don't need to know why. You don't need to know how to fit those links in. Let's just say that this is a very good way of spreading link juice throughout the pages better. So this is an upgrade kind of thing. It's advanced training. But put in number 2, okay? Because you don't want to do a lot of typing right now or copying and pasting, just a little. So var2 in this case, because that's my keyword column, don't just choose var2, choose your keyword column, standard keyword column, and then say 2 results. And yeah, go ahead and just say 2 results all the time until you learn what this tool is for. All right, submit. And guess what? We now have 3 new columns right here, these 3. Let me expand them. Boom, boom. Okay. What is this? Well, first of all, this is menu, and it's got this sort of triple caret to the front of it. You can just blow it up real quick, and it looks like this. Don't ask why we put the triple caret here. We were first inventing these system vars, and we wanted to make sure that they were labeled properly and not confused for words. So we did this just to be accurate, okay, and to make sure that we had the right thing to say it's a menu. All right, you didn't need to create it. You just had to use the menu generator tool, okay? Now, it also created 2 vars that have extremely high numbers. Numbers so high, there's no possibility we would have used them. And that's var 8001 and 8002. So that's because you chose 2. It's 8001 and 2. If you chose 25, it would have gone from 8001 through 8025. So what did it do, just so you know? It copied over the entire column of keywords, okay, just giving you a sense of it, all right? And it replaced the spaces with dashes, okay, because this is going to be for a URL, and URLs cannot have spaces in them. And then for our 2 vars, our 2 relevant vars that we would normally also insert into the page, it split that whole list in half. So both of those lists end halfway. That's the first half and then the second half, okay? Until it gets all the way to the bottom, residential plumbing, residential plumber, and that is residential plumbing, residential plumber. It did split, that's right, it went all the way across, and then it went to the next, then it went to the next, then it went to the next. And if you had var 8001 through 25, that's how it would work. First 25 keywords followed by the next 25 keywords. All right, you'll need to know about why. By the way, the reason you see one more down here, you don't need to worry about it. Just know that it's caused by the fact that there is a root added at the top. That is completely normal behavior, and it's perfectly okay. All right, so we can accept that. But what we do want to do is this. We do not want, okay, we could not accept this if we were running this on pages this way, but there's a reason that we can accept, and that's, we're not going to use all that anyway. If you were to run this project out with the whole menu, then we had to have a rule that made sure there were no broken links for these others. And the rule said you have that the system doesn't get to care anymore what you wanted for a file size. It can try to aim that low, but it must create at least a page for every single one of these and at least a folder. So usually it's going to have 2. So we don't want all those folders being created. We just needed to create menu var 1001 and var 8001 and 8002 to satisfy the minimum criteria requirements to get the master sitemaps to work. So here's the cool trick about that. Just draw a block of 3 by 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's what you're going to keep. Everything else you're going to delete out of these 3 columns. So again, 3 by 3 you're going to keep. Okay, and that's just the 2 results, first top results for each of these columns. That plus the first 2 top results, and that's it. It's okay if you have less, you just can't have more, right? And so the next one I'm going to highlight, I'm going to scroll all the way down. And I know I need to go at least this low, and 2 more over. So I'm going to shift click, and that just highlighted the whole group. Now I get to clear the contents. Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to save it. Quick rule, when you click the blue floppy to save, hit yes. That way, if you're going to just go ahead and close the whole program and hit this thing to close it right now, then you can hit don't save because you did already save. You already hit yes for the blue icon, so you don't need to save it again. Don't save, okay? And the reason for that is when you hit save, it goes through this long process of saying, are you sure? Do you want to overwrite this file? It's not going to be saved in the right format. So it's just better if you can do that cross weave. Let me show you one more time. Blue icon, save, yes. Close, don't save. Okay, just remember that. And that way it'll just close very quickly for you. By the way, the system, oh yeah, we already talked about that. Creates a unique vars.csv. All right, just deal with yours. Okay, ready? Now that we created that, we got menu var 8001 and 2 to put into the file. Now, even though the menu looks different here, the tokens are still tokens. They still look the same. So where do you think we're going to put these things? Into our keywords, meta keywords, content equals, and we're just going to keep going. So we had var6, and again, at this level of training, you don't need to know what those things are for, and you don't need to use them. So we're just going to just go ahead and do this. Watch. I'm going to shift click that whole thing, copy it. That way I can just paste it a couple times. 1, 2, 3. And kill that last comma because I don't need it. Okay. And I'm just going to adjust it right now. Menu, all in caps, var 8001, and then 8002, right? Okay. I just satisfied the criteria for running this out, okay? And what that means is that my sitemap at the bottom will actually work properly when I run it out. You can do it now. Just kind of take a look at it again. ahref domain / project / master-sitemap.html. Target equals blank. The keyword is related, and then that's it. Hey, for those of you thinking ahead, you could make the word related a var. It could be var anything that you're not using. Var 52 if you want. Var 194. Var 197,312. Don't put commas in the vars, just numbers, right? Var 1, var 2, var 3. No commas necessary. However, you could if you wanted to. No, there isn't really a reason. But I'm just telling you, you could take anchored text like this, as well as links like that, okay, whatever they are. You could take anchored text like this, and you can make it a var. You can make it a new var and give them some choices. So that could be like var 154, and on the sheet, var 154 is, related, sitemap, projects, links, anything like that. And it'll actually cycle between those on the pages, okay? There you go. And if you want, again, you can highlight the whole thing, drag it down, match it to the rest of the columns, and there you have it, when you do that. Okay. So now that I have all that done, what can I do? I can run it, and I'll get the sitemap to work. Ready? Let's load that puppy out. Boom. Okay, it's got all my stuff on it. Everywhere, everything. I could upload it or not upload it just if I want to check it again. It's pretty quick, Next, process, right? There, done. Hit back. That's where I want to go. I may as well copy it. Again, we should do some kind of a shortcut. You can even do it in the browser. You can just go in the browser and it'll go. And I'll figure out where it is. Samples, just created, and then in here, and it could be any one of these. And if I open it, I'll see it. I'm gonna scroll down. Double check that this works, and it does. I can see it. I can see it over here, right? That is right. henrysmithpc.com/sample/master-sitemap.html. Now, will it be there if I click on it? No, because we never did upload these pages to the guy's website. But it is the right link. It's okay that it corrects itself to www. That's not a problem. But when this thing gets uploaded, then it'll work, okay? On his website. If this project gets done on his website, it'll work. Okay. But you got to upload it with FTP to make it work. Either that or just zip it and send it to him, which you can do. Like, what would you do? You'd say this. Let's say we're just going to zip the project and send it to them. Then we're going to call it something else, you know. Who knows what, okay? Samples 2, all right? If I just go next and I hit process. And I got to remember whether it's reading off the top or the bottom on that. It's one of them. It's funny how many things you get into the process of automating. You got to go back and double check. We've done so many of these things for so long. It's amazing. Okay. And these are powerful, by the way. We just keep adding more. That's what happens. MOWG Pro. C Pro. MOWG Pro. There it is. Runs. All right. I'm just going to get rid of these because I don't need them anymore. Again, these will just kind of like add up and sort of gum up the whole thing. If I don't get rid of them sooner or later. See that? It's just lots and lots of pages, right? Okay. Now, and I did a big run at one point just for the fun of it. All right, let me see. I'm going to process it. Okay, it's done. Now, okay, that's samples, all right. So it really is reading from where? Back. Not here. That samples 2 didn't do it. It's reading from here. Okay, just so you know. And that's because when it uploads, then this is the folder it needs to attach to. So, of course, it put all the pages in a folder with that name, right? We would be uploading that to, you know, our website into the public HTML folder and then extracting it, and therefore all the pages would be there. All the pages would be inside index.html and everything else that belongs in there, just like this, right? Index.html. There's always an index2.html. Don't worry about it. It's like a backup, okay? Master sitemap, blah, blah, blah. It's all there, though, okay? And then inside each of these are all the sections related to them and main pages. Go inside them, and each of them has their own things, their own pages. All right? So there you go. It's all set up. It all relates. It all works. It's all good. Now, what could you do? Here's the point. You could take this WinZip and zip it. Pew. All right, then you could just email it to the guy. It's not even a meg. Now that's a sample. Tell him to upload it to his website and unzip it in his main folder where his web pages are. And when he does, then all of a sudden he'll have those. They'll work. And the sitemap links will be on all the pages. The whole thing will be good to go. The whole thing will work. Okay, so then sooner or later when Google comes back and looks at his site, it can see all of that. If he has any kind of a link on one of his top pages that links into that project, then the Google bots will find the rest eventually. If he wants to speed that process up, he can submit the sitemap he sees, cancel, to Google, right? Oops, sorry about that. And so there you go. Boom. All right. I think that pretty much gives you enough fodder to play with. It's really cool and strong. Okay, and by the way, real quick, just to make sure I don't blow over the top of this, sometimes I have a habit of forgetting to really point this out. What is the bread and butter of this project when you show a guy, especially with the samples, the kind of thing that'll blow his mind? You know, I just want to make sure you don't misunderstand this. So inside here, I have my, folder I'm going to send him, tell him to upload to his site on zip, submit the sitemaps to Google. That's great. Samples. Let me point this out. See all these folders? Okay, especially the ones with the cities. All right, so what's that mean? That means like on this master sitemap, okay? All these links that talk about Goshen, okay? That's because the pages about Goshen are in here, okay? All the links that talk about who knows what else, right? The pages are in there, etc., like Benton Harbor, okay? Or in the plumbing, this is kind of like root. You don't need to worry about it. But on that menu root concept, then it's going to use a number of just regular keywords like plumbing as opposed to actual cities. So a couple of folders can come out actually being related to keywords instead of cities, even though cities is what I chose in the URL. Don't worry about it. Again, it's advanced training. But the point is, all the Granger pages are in the Granger folder. Okay, all the Michigan City pages are in the Michigan City folder. The Kalamazoo pages are in there, unless they're, unless these pages, of course, are in the keyword-oriented folder, which again is fine. Let me point out the value. Every page that's in a folder like Kalamazoo, okay, there's 3. What's it saying? Residential commercial plumber, That's, the geo-targeted keyword. Okay. Geo-targeted being Kalamazoo. Then residential leak detection and residential water heater installation. Now in this case, they all happen to be residential. Okay, if I choose something else, oops, I know what's causing that. I may have to go dig this back up. Funny. Happened a couple of times. I'm going to have to restart something. All right. MOWG Pro. Runs. Samples. Okay, let me just show you, like, if I go in some other city, it could be residential, but it could also be commercial just as easily. Okay, just so you know. For whatever reason, it's residential. I can go back and look and see if I may have caused that on my own. Oh, I think I know why. Because of the way I structured the menu. Okay. Whatever. As you do things, you'll decide what you want to put in different places, and you'll see what you're doing very, very quickly. And it's okay. It's not an issue. Here's the point, though. I want to get into one of these and show you what I mean. It does say Kalamazoo residential commercial plumber, residential leak detection, residential water heater. You can do another twist to the run later to get a bunch of commercial pages up into a new folder, right? Because you can name these folders anything you want, and it doesn't need to be samples anyway. However, here's the point. Kalamazoo residential commercial plumber, if I look up here, whatever that is, residential commercial plumber, but there it is. It's how it works. It's in the URL. But it's also right up here in the page title and in the meta description and wherever it is that we put this information here on the actual page, right? View page source. So take a look. Title, Best Kalamazoo, Michigan Residential Commercial Plumber. I don't know where we came out. Just whatever we did wasn't very clean. We'll go back and fix it, Henry Smith is your commercial plumber expert serving Kalamazoo. Call today. Got it. See how that all relates? That's what I want to say. That the words that are in the URLs actually match what's in the page title, actually match what's in the meta tag description, and actually match wherever it is that we put them on the page. Okay? It's really, really, really important that we made that match happen, right? We don't let the URL talking about Kalamazoo one thing and have the page talk about Goshen something else, right? Let's take a look at another one. Residential leak detection special offer. Okay, residential leak detection, Best Kalamazoo, Michigan residential leak detection. Sure enough, that's what it says right there, right? Henry Smith is your leak detection expert serving Kalamazoo. Call for more. And wherever it's had it in the page, right? Like wherever it is that we would have put that stuff in the page, right? Look, when you're looking for residential leak detection products and services. Okay, what about the third page? Water heater installation. Also Kalamazoo, right? View page source. Best Kalamazoo residential water heater installation. Henry Smith is your water heater installation expert serving Kalamazoo. And if we look at the page, yeah, Kalamazoo, when you're looking for residential water heater installation products and services, call. Okay, wherever we would have put it in here, anywhere on all this stuff, top, bottom, and otherwise, then it will be following our instructions, right? We're local business serving our friends and customers, right? Since whenever, family owned and operated. All right, very cool. It's all there. That's what I wanted to say. All runs are like that, and if I were to go here and switch over to something else, I don't know, let's try Mishawaka. Mishawaka is a pretty recognizable name. Leaky faucet, plumber special, water boiler repair. Okay, fine. Mishawaka, Indiana residents, view page source. Again, last one. Best Mishawaka, Indiana residential water boiler repair. Henry Smith is your water boiler repair expert serving Mishawaka. And if we go looking, Mishawaka, Indiana, right? When you're looking for residential water boiler repair products and services. Get it? That's how it works. Okay. You can do that with anything. If you've got images and you know how to put alt code into the images, you can put any combination of vars and static text together in for the alt code, or just vars, or several vars together. How to deal with that, when to do multiple vars and when to do just one, versus the question would come up, if I have 1,000 pages, shouldn't I always use the same text for the same image? That's different than if I have 1,000 pages, then should I have the image follow whatever the topic of the page is? Like, again, Mishawaka, water boiler repair products. Maybe I should say authorized water boiler repair expert serving Mishawaka. Maybe that should be the alt code. But then on the next page is for South Bend, so it's saying the same thing. Authorized, whatever it is, residential water boiler repair expert serving South Bend, and it should be the same image getting the different alt code. This is all discussions that we have in an advanced level, because there's many more such questions to ask, that have to do with really nailing SEO at this mass level. If in doubt, don't include. Just don't include it. You can't really hurt, by the way. Not at this level of the game. This is a basic level of the game. Climbing to higher levels, you want to fine tune. But as far as just creating a bunch of cool pages for someone somewhere for however much you're going to charge per page, I don't care if it's a dime per page times 10,000 pages, you give the guy 100, you get paid $100. If you want to make that deal, just to not lose it and move on to the next guy, whatever you want to do, you can do that. Okay, it'll still be a little time and effort for you to line up, especially 10,000 pages. Somebody should not only pay you $100 for 10,000 pages. I don't care. But there are going to be a lot of people that do not get it, but they're willing to shrug and at least give you that much for it. And you, instead of lose the sale, because you always lose some sales, but instead of lose the sale, you're sort of putting a safety net in there, getting paid better for your time by at least giving them a lot for something, right? Okay. There you go. All right. So there's that. Okay. And we can talk about more later. All right. I hope you guys had a good one. That really is going to conclude this bit of public training for MOWG at this base level of MOWG, basic MOWG understanding of how to create basic runs for people, put them up, make those guys happy. That was this. It is enough for a full-time living. You could make a full-time living just knowing what you know right now. And you can do it from the comfort of your home easily, and you can even start to outsource it to other guys, some or all of that work. So you can take in payments at one price and pay half of that out, or whatever it is, to other people who do the work. And when you do that, and then they just send the work back to you when it's finished so you can show the guy, then you spend all your time middlemaning, and that's much better for sales. So that's the kind of direction you should go for yourself, for growing up and in to a full-time income that you can run from home cleanly from your computer and be able to rely on it, because you're just giving a lot for little. And if you ever ask, who could my market be? I'm telling you, there are 32,000 cities in the U.S. Just start going. I don't care. Write them down. Go through them alphabetically. Look up lists. Start with a state, whatever you want to do. And then you can, again, it could be plumbers, doctors, dentists, lawyers. So you can really do 32,000 cities times whatever the heck. And if there's got to be like at least 30 of them every single time. Okay? It's got to be at least like 30 of them every single time. And all that means is that you're pitching 30 guys every single time. There's 30 opportunities, right, to make the sale in every single city. So that's like, 900,000 attempts, 900,000 potential clients. How many can you reach a day? 90? How many sales will you land a day doing that? 30? How much will you make per sale? 100? 200? That's even $3,000 to $6,000 days if you're really pushing it, especially if you're getting other people to help you with the work. All right, I hope you enjoyed this series, and let me know if you have any questions, and look out for the more advanced training modules that we have coming out for guys who want to go further in and do bigger jobs. Okay, take care.